Today, it's Sonic's 30th anniversary, and some other stuff is happening too. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint. You know, here on the show, we make a lot of fun of video game companies.
That's mostly because they deserve it.
And also because you like it.
So really, this is just a messed up, parasocial, polyamorous, third-party humiliation play thing we've got going on. Cool.
If you're also into Findom, check out patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Now. It's Sonic's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, Sonic Team is giving themselves a little makeover. Sure, the logo is still the same as it was back in the 20th century, but now they've given it a bit of a run-up. Wicked. According to creative director Kazuyuki Hoshino, the new animation is part of an effort by the team to get Sonic into merch, media, collaborations with artists and influencers, and thank God for that, because if there's one thing that Sonic has an absolute dearth of, it's merchandise. If only they could put him on something, or find him a content creator to collaborate with. This is part of something they're calling Project Sonic 22, which is weird to me because you've already got Sonic's 30th anniversary right there, but you're on a rebranding kick, so that's fine. The whole point, after all, is to let you know that when you see this logo, you are, quote, guaranteed to get a good game from Sonic Team, which is way better than running an ad like this. I have no idea if that's real or not, but thank God Color's got a 78 on Metacritic, right? Man, have they thought about re-releasing it? Oh. Well, keep an eye out for that logo, I guess.
One of the biggest stories of the week was the leak of screenshots and video from Rockstar's long way out but nonetheless actually upcoming Grand Theft Auto 6. After coasting on GTA 5 for just about 10 years and the 2020 departure of GTA creative anchor Dan Houser, some had theorized that Rockstar might just never make another Grand Theft Auto game. But this proves that that is not only not the case, but that GTA 6 is further along than anyone thought. Well, not nearly far enough along for some people. You see, a common theme among reactions to the leak, from gamers who have no idea how game development works, was that this vastly pre-alpha, never intended for public consumption footage looked maybe kind of incomplete. Wow, am I the only one seeing this? Rockstar really fell off. Where's the quality control? Oh, what an absolute joke of a game. Ugh. These hot takes were brought to you by the same people who saw the following pictures and had this to say. What a dogshit loaf of bread. Pff, dangerously underfunded building, am I right? Ugh, worst beige I've ever seen. For Rockstar's part, they say they're disappointed and let down by the leak, which I would be if anyone saw the rough cuts of my work, but this embarrassment will not delay development any more than it already was going to be. I mean, we're probably looking at 2026 for this thing as it is. And it wasn't just working files. The hacker or group responsible also released the source code for GTA 5 and claims that they have the GTA 6 source code, which is potentially a much larger concern for Rockstar than, this pre-alpha footage looks bad. The hacker says they won't release it yet and are working on a deal with Rockstar, which honestly is a hell of a bold stance for criminal? It's unclear how they think this could ever go well for them, when apparently this is the same person or group responsible for hacking Uber last week. And while Rockstar and Take-Two haven't said anything, Uber has, and they say that they're working with the FBI and the Department of Justice to investigate the hackers. So in summary, let's just say that these people have a 5-star rating, and they are probably about to have a very bad time.
Everybody loves football, and nobody does football better than FIFA. At EA. Oh God, you thought I meant FIFA the organization. Oh God, no, I've seen the takes. They're monstrous. FIFA. Also EA. Moving on. Anyway, EA's always had a deft hand at including classic teams with their modern-day marvels, including iconic teams from Wimbledon and Port Vale. But now, in celebration of the last FIFA game they'll ever make, ever. They're going fictional. Ted Lasso and AFC Richmond are coming to FIFA 23, and before you start shouting, yes, they face scan Jason Sudeikis, Brett Goldstein, and I'm assuming Brendan Hunt for Coach Beard, but since his likeness features a hat, sunglasses, and his namesake beard, it's just as likely they scanned Graham. As a fan of the show, it's super exciting to see AFC Richmond make it to FIFA, which is really just a ridiculous thing for me to feel because I don't watch soccer, I don't play soccer video games, and I'm not even subscribed to Apple TV. But hey, maybe we can take this as a sign that somehow, in some way, someone is trying to inject goodness, positivity, and integrity into FIFA and EA.
And now a tale of two games at the Embracer Group AGM. First up, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, because Embracer owns Gearbox. Turns out the game was a, quote, major victory. According to CEO Randy Pitchford, they clearly have a new franchise on our hands. Yay! Profits all around. But not so much for Volition's Saints Row reboot, which also came out this year, even though you'd be forgiven for not noticing. Embracer's co-founder Lars Wingfors is confident we will make money on the investment, but I'd take that quote with a grain of salt because he said that during the company's AGM and shareholders were listening. But before you get all worked up, don't feel bad for Embracer Group because their sales and profits grew significantly this year and they have a very diverse games pipeline. After all, look at all the companies that are in there that they bought this year.
They bought all those companies this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of board games in Embracer now.
We got a lot of board games. If you're desperate for things to buy.
What part of Findom is this? Coming up, Afghanistan's government has banned PUBG, citing the game's negative impact on youth. That's fucking rich coming from the Taliban. I added that Findom.
That was great. That was so good. I was like, oh, it ties it back together.
Well, because when we were reading it, I was like, I feel like this needs a little bit more of a button than you just being like, yeah.
Give us money. Buy us. Exploit us for whatever.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah, that went remarkably well. So you said most of those companies are board game companies.
Oh, no, a lot of them are board games.
A lot of them board game companies.
Yeah,
but
like
that's then just like a small company that makes like a small, like a game or two games or something, right?
Yeah, but like they bought like Asmodee, they own Exploding Kittens now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They own like a lot of like board game companies / board game publishers.
It was only up for like a few seconds and I was trying to scan for things I recognized and
there's so many.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't originally going to make that the punchline of the story, but like, you know, I was reading these articles on Eurogamer about their AGM and I was like, let's go look at the slides. And I just sort of started idly flipping through because I was looking for a slide that had all of Embracer Group stuff so I could put that up again so we could remind people how big the company was. And then I was like, oh, here it is. No, this is just stuff they bought this year. Holy shit.
Yeah. And it's weird because it's like it's big, but it might also not be terribly big because, like you say, they bought Asmodee. Well, that's a big company. But like, you know, they bought like probably some other companies that are maybe quite small.
They have like 14,000 employees.
Yeah, so
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. But, you know, maybe it's bad. Let's just say this is a bad thing. This is a worrisome thing.
Yep.
This is like consolidation of media into more and more giant companies. And I mean, the weird thing is,
it's Embracer Group's long-term play to get bought, probably.
Yeah, or to just keep buying until they're like, there's nothing else to
Until we own all of the middle ground in the video game market.
Possibly, yeah. And then I wonder, it's like, is it, what happens when a company like that fails, right? Like what happens when they get to a point where they're...
THQ failed.
Yeah, exactly, right? So then what happens when a company like that fails? It's like, does another company come along and buy the entire husk and more? Or do they split it up again? And yeah, and then we get back into the IP fights again. That'll be fun. I can't wait.
I can't believe I got that because I had such a shaky read through the first time on that Rockstar story.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
can't believe it just...
Yeah, you flew. That was real good.
Amazing.